have an uninterrupted electricity and water supply from solar energy in the Gambia and beyond, worry no more. Because Solar Enterprise will provide you with the solutions at reasonable cost. We have experienced personnel who can install and advise you about your electricity and water supply with a warranty period. We have good quality solar products from North America and Europe. We provide services and sell products to individuals, organizations, institutions, private offices, communities, and government. These products are solar panels, batteries, charge controllers, inverters, water pump, water heaters, freezers, submersible pumps, and general solar accessories. Visit our stores at 48 Karaba Avenue and Brusubi Highway, or you can call us on 7657 479 980 8483 340 9400 or 635 9906.
Jamano Money Transfer Bureau de Change, your go-to option when it comes to money transfer. With Jamano, you can send money from anywhere in the world to your family and loved ones in the Gambia and be sure the funds will be delivered to them within the shortest time possible. For your convenience, funds sent through Jamano Money Transfer can be picked from all the banks and multiple other financial institutions, including Ajib Bank, Trust Bank, GT Bank, Mega Bank, Basic Bank, Reliance Financial Services, and Approved Services. Visit our head office at Brusubi opposite AfricMed next to Trust Bank Limited, or email us at info@jamanomt.com. You can as well call us on 310-3050 or 310-3051, or yet still 733-0688. Our opening hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Saturday and 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday. Jamano Money Transfer, your most trusted money transfer service where customer satisfaction is paramount. When you think of a simple, fast, and reliable money transfer, think Jamano Money Transfer.
I get it. Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code nyingi.
Okay. What's that? Nsila ID soto.
Sa soto. Sorry. I get it.
Bijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariya.
Mbare.
Mo ki janna nun kunu bara tariya.
Jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbali ya bere. Birim koyna fo katon.
Bari si kodo kino katon nim fo bolon blabe to.
56 branches mola soto Gambia jam.
Ha?
Gambia kono ani Gambia bantala bankol. Nka kodo kiya bere to. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw. Jannom number 1 ti nyonta. Andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale. Golam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale le dadi ma ni domorol ni fana beteata. Gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale je.
Wo moyo diat.
Apelenta
baraka. Ni ma lafta nyelen kendol e bina.
Yalo bu kanyi la ko la baraka ba.
Yalo ndel chosano lo.
Baraka.
Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, takaful fund, management of zakat, management of awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151 or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you.
Welcome to the brunch. I'm Lamin Cham. This is our weekly look at current affairs, and this morning I'm joined in the studio by Sait Matty, of course, from the Civic Society. Well, both my panelists are from the Civic Society. Momodu S. Bah is from the Gambia Press Union. He's the president.
Mohammed.
I shouldn't say Momodu. Ah, man.
My son is Momodu.
They all come from Mohammed.
Yes.
All right. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Well, we have lost a lot of time, so we just go straight into the nitty-gritties, or brass task, if you like. And today we are going to deal with matters that occupied the news in the past 7 days. Namely, of course, there was a protest against the Judicial Officers' Remuneration Bill, as well as a bill also meant for salaries and benefits for National Assembly members. We also have a contentious debate about a bill that is also coming to conclusion or decision time in the Assembly, and that is the FGM. But we start with two changes in the cabinet yesterday in the course of just 24 hours. We lost the Minister for Basic Education and also the Minister for Digital Communications. The government did not say why they had to go, but we know the Minister for Education is said to have resigned. But according to the government statement, that of Digital Communication, Usman Ba, has been fired. Like I said, there have not been any official explanations, but many people and commentators all agreed that it has to do with dual nationality or dual citizenship issues. Now, according to the Constitution, you cannot hold two citizenships and serve in the cabinet. So, how, if that is the case, did these two or both ended up serving as ministers? These and other questions are what we're going to ask and perhaps express our perspective on them. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for having us.
Good. Let's start with the cabinet changes. Are you surprised?
I mean, not kind of surprised, but also not expected, sort of. For me, it's just like a normal day. It seems like a normal day at the office. Those that are hired can be fired. But the interesting part was also the resignation. The resignation, but I'm also interested in what are the reasons behind it. Perhaps we might never know.
Well, the statement did not accompany any reason, but it just said clearly that in the case of the Minister for Basic Education, President Barrow accepted her
resignation. Yes, and I saw, so like I said, I don't know what is behind it, but I saw a lot of people talking about, the fact that it has to do with the dual citizenship issue, and for me, this is the problem, the structural problem that I keep talking about in terms of a constitution, in terms of all this different stuff. Even you can look at this beyond the current sacking or even removal or resignation, but you can also look at it more broadly in terms of how the diaspora, what role can the diaspora play within the conversation. But of course, it's the 1997 Constitution that says that you only have to have the green Gambian passport to serve in some of these positions. In National Assembly, you have to be full time. Cabinet the same. Even to run for the presidency, you have to have a Gambian citizenship without dual citizenship. So these are issues that, given today our current context where you have quite a number of diaspora doing amazingly well. I mean, for me, the amount of professionals we have in the diaspora, when we continue to have this kind of laws, it's continue to limit them, because quite a lot of them will want to come back, but they have to make that decision of losing their other citizenship to serve. And you serve for 1-2 years, you get fired. That's the other question.
Okay. So, MS, before we come to whether this law is not even discriminatory, and why do the authorities kept this law in place even after 7 years of what we're supposed to, be correcting, if you like, a corrective system we're supposed to be having. 7 years, we didn't still think that this law is bad. Even Dictator Jammeh, with all his inadequacies, he just deliberately ignored this thing as something that's not important.
Yeah.
He appointed people who may have even more than two
citizenship. Yeah, of course. He appointed people, ministers who were
like the late Malafi. Jaju, Scattered, Jane.
But that's why he was a dictator, because he was not following the law.
At least on account of what is happening today, you might say, well, it was Jammeh thought that was a bad law, that was not insignificant.
But you can change it. I think it's not an entrenched clause. It can be changed by the National Assembly. It can also be changed through a constitution, like constitutional amendments. I think we have to look into this, looking at what the diaspora is really contributing in our GDP, almost 60%, and then a lot of money, nearly a billion plus in terms of monies that they are bringing into the country. So I think it's not fair on the diaspora. Also looking at the law, because the law, or not what ought to be the law, but what is the law. I think also the government really missed the point. They didn't do a background check, or they did it deliberately.
Or maybe the individuals concerned gave a false declaration, allegedly.
It could be.
Because how could the government missed it? Because normally I know there was a time, and I think that practice continued. Before you get appointment into cabinet, they even take you
to the ombudsman. Yeah, you have to declare your assets to the ombudsman.
Even to the SS,
papers,
the
SIS. Maybe the SIS may be a bit harsh, but the ombudsman is there to check and advise government to say, and even the attorney general, can say, please don't do this. Section 62 is saying this, so you cannot do this. So I think it's important. Though it's the law right now, we cannot say.
But is it incumbent on government, the appointee or the appointing authorities, to find out, or it is the duty of the person who's been nominated to be truthful in their declaration?
For me, I think it's the government. Because human beings, probably they can follow. They may be very selfish, but you have to make sure that you follow the law, because you are the one interested for the person to work for you. So you have to ensure that whosoever is working meets the criteria, is qualified enough to not academically, but what the law says. So it's the government. Someone might say something, but you even despite that, you have to make sure that he's vetted. You due diligence.
But I also think there's a gap. And the gap here, in many places, that's where the role of the National Assembly comes in. When the president appoints, then the National Assembly confirms, and then in the process of confirmation, that's when you do all this digging. And this mostly in this digging is the National Assembly that does it.
That is when the law is changed. Right now, the president can hire and fire.
No. Right now we are using. You see, Lamin, before we were talking about the law, I've been talking about the constitution. You see, people. Before we realize that the 1997 constitution is so limiting, it will affect every one of us. And we will come out here and then start complaining. That's when we realize that this is a limiting document that we need to change. And this is the problem in this country. That's why I was talking about the structural limitation. And in many places, that's where the National Assembly comes in to confirm. And in the confirmation, they look at your CV, they question your history, they look at all those things to ensure that at the end of the day, you are qualified. And then there are no other issues. But currently, within our own 1997 constitution, I mean, the president can hire. And then that's why I'm never surprised when they appoint, when they fire, because that's the job. So for me, it's not about the hiring and firing, but hadn't been like we had the assembly, that could have helped. But I agree with him. I mean, since now we don't have the assembly, the due diligence must be done by the president himself in particular.
I agree. And another thing that I want to comment on, I think this is an opportunity for the president to merge the information ministry and the communications ministry. Yes. For me, I think it's like, okay, look at it in a broader perspective. For example, you're paying a minister and another minister, and then also there is a fine line between these two ministries. Who does what? And how?
You mean the line is thin?
It's very thin. Look at Pura. Look at Pura.
Argue that
okay.
The two people have argued that two should be separated.
Yeah,
I think that so the other one actually requires a whole kettle of fish in terms of technological requirements, knowledge in various digital things. Whereas the other one, you and I could just get up and be appointed.
For me, I think they can work. If you look at countries like Kenya, these ministries are the same. You look at Ghana, you have information and communication ministries. So, looking at our situation, for example, when Yahya Jammeh was leaving, he just left with, I think, 18 ministries. Like, there were 18 ministries. So, 18 or 19. And then Barrow came and added three more. The Minister of Women Affairs.
The couple,
the other one. And then Minister of Government Administration?
Public
Service. Yes, those are ministries that could be very relevant. But looking at our economy, we are highly indebted, obviously, and that a minister, that position entails a lot of money. For example, you have to pay for the utility car. You have to give over $60,000 separate staff, permanent secretaries, and stuff. What they could have done is to bring them back again and make sure that you have a whole department that is working on that aspect. For example, you can have a permanent secretary of communication and a whole directorate, for example. And then payment of rent. This ministry is paying rent.
Yeah, that's
separately.
Opposite the stadium.
Exactly. So they are paying rent, and then also imagine
when they could have been housed at the GRS building.
Perfectly said. When they decoupled these ministries, we learned that most of the staff, went to the communications.
Yes.
And then it really delayed a lot of things. For example, the implementation of the access to information, establishment of the commission. It took time. So now, and in the long run, there will be a huge confusion. For example, they want to bring a data protection commission.
Yes, that's right.
And that will be under the Ministry of Information. And it also has to deal with the Ministry of Communication. Digital. So how do you work in that line? Pura is currently under the information, but they have to deal with the order. Exactly. Yeah. So, I think we have to look into this. For me, if not, it will bring challenges like that structural challenge that he's talking about. Yeah. It will bring those kind of structural challenges.
But me outside the cost that MS, he argued that case properly. I mean, I cannot argue on the cost side of it, but I'm also looking at it in terms of what is really the difference? You talk about a fine line, but I'm looking at this one, the communication guys, because it's communication and
digital communication.
Yeah, because there's a whole new, market sort of in terms of that. But you're talking about the infrastructure, you're talking about that
e-government,
e-government, quite a lot of other issues. But for me, I look at Ministry of Information like the journalist of government. It's like about
it's beyond that.
What do they do? It's mostly sharing information, bringing information. That's basically the role of the information minister. And yes, I mean, so for the other one, I think it's more the technical. For me, my issue is, do we get a right person that can manage, can change this country? Because this is a small country, 2.4 million. One day you go around the country. It could easily be digitalized. Government institutions could easily be digitalized. You talk about corruption. You talk about a lot of the structural issues. I mean, a lot of things could be addressed with that. But I mean, for me, I feel MS is the expert on this one.
Well, the former minister, the man who's just been sacked from the job, actually, whenever he came on air, he would boast about some of the innovative things he had brought about since this. In fact, his ministry was the last. His position was the last to be filled in the cabinet, in the new cabinet. But he always boasts of a number of bullet points that he said they have achieved.
I mean, but
he was going to e-government. I mean, he claimed to have created now a unified communication.
Let me tell you,
government that I can send you email.
No, let me tell you, people are using their personal emails.
Even in government.
Yes. They are using Google. They are using .com, Gmail. I'm telling you this.
They claim they have
that should be
I think
number.
there was some testing that I saw that at some point.
Yeah, but that should be number. Like senior government officials are using .com.
They should.
And one that has a serious implication. Because that is a domain that is used by almost everybody. And then people can hijack your very
email and get access to
sensitive government for me, let them try and make sure that they merge these ministries. Make sure that it is effective. They even have a comprehensive document, I think it's called the Gambia Government Strategy on Digitalization. Stuff like, 2021 to 2020. I think it's a 5-year stuff. And they have a whole lot of comprehensive explanation about the e-governance, e-economy, whatever.
That's what
but now looking at the realities, whether those things are happening right now. So now I think government should assess, okay, what has been done since the appointment of this new minister.
I mean,
and then to look at it, and then also
what makes it interesting is whereas in the case of the minister, if they were the same, if they are similar crimes, if their departure was because of similar reasons, why would it be the case of firing in the case of Usman Pa for digital communication? Because I assume that if the Minister of Education found out that she has dual nationality, and that's against the laws, is it the case that she just prepared and says, ready, let me go? Or this one did not do that and I was a bit reluctant to leave? Did he do something else wrong?
No, I heard he also have the same, it's a similar situation.
Yeah, but why do you have to fire the other one and the other one resigned? Is it that you are refused to
you are making us to speculate now, but but for me, was it not part of because you were talking about the fact that because when the new ministry was created, it took a time. It took some time,
and they were saying probably they were looking for somebody.
Yeah, looking for somebody. But this is also what MS was also saying, that the government, especially the president, where he has to do his due diligence, because you took a lot of time to say that you were looking for somebody to man the position, and then this was a new ministry, new ministry, with a lot of ambitious ideas. I think it's and at the end of the day you come and fire the person. But I also think the guy was not also delivering. I mean, like I watch sometimes his interviews, I don't understand what he was saying.
Exactly.
Those are the things that also if you're in a serious government, I mean you have to do what is right. If people give them chance, but the starting point is look for the quality people that you will not come and do things like this at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, now let's see what happened to those ministers. They said both of them have been given to people to oversee.
Why would you think the other one is information? Information is overseeing communications
and public services
and public service.
Education.
MOPSI
the higher one.
Under higher education.
So are you going to argue that you matched that one too?
That one I'm not sure. Maybe Sait Matty, because that is education. But for me,
would you say that those two can be matched? You can say Minister of Education and stop there.
No. Like it's the education area is big, is huge. It's huge in the sense that
Same can be argued for communication and.
No, for me, I prefer to the separation. I mean, but MS argument of So for me,
MS too definitely defended it well because
that's why I say
even when they are separated. You see that their jobs are
they're having
so much interview.
But that is, you see, that's why sometimes when you go to certain meetings, you go to government, you see, like you wonder which ministry is doing what. So government needs to also be that's why we're talking about civil service reform, or when we're talking about reform generally, it needs to be clear who does what when, what kind of power they have. That needs to be clear. But for me, in terms of the education, I think basic and secondary education, is totally different. Is education continuation, but early childhood and all those different things are very necessary for the Ministry of Basic Education to take care of that, because the higher education we're talking about research, science and technology. So it's another level of issue where you also need different expertise, because me today, yes, I teach at the university. That doesn't mean like I can teach in primary schools or anywhere else, or in nursery schools or anywhere else. It's not the same case. I mean, even my kids, I cannot teach them, because there are other people that specialize on that area. But for communication, where I'm saying, like, for me, it needs to be separated, because I see one as the hardware and the other as the software. And the software is more, for me, information is more about government communication, ensuring that government is speaking to the public and engaging with the public, but also ensuring that it is getting effective feedback from the government. That's why you're looking at JRTS and others.
Yeah, but you have another office called the Office of the Spokesperson. Just wait. Office of the Government Spokesperson. You know, that office, I think, would have also done much better in terms of reaching out, communicating government agenda, policies, or whatever.
But it has to be equipped with a staff.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So now, what he's saying, I'm just trying to, buttress on what he's trying to say.
No, he's trying to counter my points.
No, I'm not countering. But what I'm saying is, this ministry's information and communication. For me, I still stand on my previous opinion that these things should be merged, because if not, we will have a serious structural issues as time goes on. Like I cited the data protection issue. It goes to which line ministry?
No, people are supposed to be under the Minister of Information,
and then at the same time,
some of them are with the other ministry.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think in order to avert these problems, and also cut costs. Yeah. Because only a minister, you are giving him sometimes 3 cars, utility cars, and then I know those
ones I will agree, but you're also missing the point that, I mean, the point that what you were trying to say, like in the future. Because these are all design stuff that the government needs to design properly. That's why I'm not saying that there is always this, what they call it, where one ministry's role jump onto the other minister's role and all that. But this is something that government need to sit down. That's why the Ministry of Public Service is very relevant. You look at it and then you design it well. In the sense that information, what is information? Can we redesign it in a way that this should be their TOR? Focus on, the issue of JRTS, the making, broadcasting more accessible, all those different elements in terms of the information. Because information is a whole different, better. It's a whole different environment. But now take the same minister that is so focused on information, trying to work on that. You bring the digital aspect where they have to now look at how do we digitalize this country, looking at the technical side of
information ministry can do that.
They can do that as well. In this country, we can even have 5 ministers. We can decide to put everything together and have 5 ministers.
Now we have.
But at some point, you need to also look at, because the digitalization is not only about the digital. It's also about economic aspects. So they're looking at the new opportunities. So,
from the word go, there have been allegations of conflict of interest when this new minister was appointed, that he may be running a private company, and in fact,
there was a publication against.
There was a contractor.
There was a publication against him.
This one we can only speculate, but then
there was a publication against him.
If we are I saw that. But if you are to analyze all that, I mean, for me, at the end of the day, is that this guy was not delivering.
So whatever happened, you think that he was not.
He was not delivering at the end of the day. For me, that's the bottom line.
But the government too should have come with some explanation, as to what happened. In his case, for example, he's been fired. Or this is going to be another Jammeh style, when Jammeh said if he have talked about what the ministers might have done, nobody is going to greet them in the street. So he would rather say, I've sacked them and
but just tell people what is going on.
But this is
for accountability.
But this was initially the mistake from the appointing agency itself.
Yeah.
So
I think all these things have been addressed in the draft constitution.
Yes.
That is, if the president wants to nominate, Parliament confirm.
Yes.
And if and then the removals procedures, sacking procedures, all are spelled out.
There should be a.
I mean, in this country, if we don't start looking at the need for reform in the constitution and the laws, everybody will come here and then start complaining.
Complaining
because we only wait until it affects us, then we start talking.
Yeah, because the government, which should have led, only pick and choose the areas they want.
Yeah, but then this was,
that's the problem.
So we allow them to do that, but people need to start pressuring, even though it's in their interest. But tomorrow we'll start complaining about other issues, because when we realize that it is the laws, because we complain over dictatorial law, and now we are seeing how these laws are playing out in a way that
affecting.
Where
so
citizens want accountability, but the government also have a constitution that is limiting it. That's why Jammeh was ignoring it.
So why do we have all the people on one voice when it comes to people with the next topic, that is remuneration of judicial officers and parliamentarians, where we can't unite on the significance and importance of the constitution, the draft constitution?
Because there's a lack of understanding, and this is where also civil society tried to come in, but for also our voice have been overshadowed by of course, misinformation, disinformation, talking about, because at the end of the day you can do things at in what they call it, in pieces, bits and pieces and all that stuff. But eventually, all of us will come to the realization that our main problem is our constitution.
Yeah, that's the bigger problem.
And whether you are in politics, whether party, outside, inside, whatever, it doesn't matter. You will be affected. Today, look at the diaspora. We are talking about diaspora voting.
Yeah.
Diaspora voting. So voting, then what? Yeah. What about representation?
Yeah.
What about then after representation? What about appointment?
Yeah.
You want to tell me diasporans cannot be appointed?
Yeah.
But today, within our laws, there is a limitation.
And do you know that there is another law, another bill coming, which is a foreign service bill. More or less is asking the same thing, that if you hold dual nationality, you cannot be appointed into the foreign service.
I think that law is bad.
And that is what is also coming.
That law. These are laws that we should.
At the moment, if the law comes into effect, nearly half a dozen or more of our current diplomatic staff.
But what is the essence?
What
is the essence of the government's agenda on the legal reform? Now we are saying we have laws that are perceived to be draconian, or that are perceived to restricting Gambians in exercising their rights or holding public offices and making sure that they are participating. Now, if you bring those kind of laws, it means we are going back to our colonial or even Jammeh laws. So
even Jammeh was appointing diaspora.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. For me, I think we have to allow members of the diaspora to participate in the discussion, and don't hold not only the discussion but also hold public offices. We should have representation at the National Assembly. We should have representation at the ministry, at the cabinet level, and then even at the foreign service. How can you say that diaspora? Okay, you can send in money. But you cannot put your mouth. You cannot put your mouth in the cabinet. No,
unless you renounce
that bill should be thrown away.
For me, sometimes for me, I remove myself from this society and then try to look at this. Sometimes Gambians, the way we think, it's only when it favors us. That's when we say, okay, it favors, no, we're not going to talk about anything. Yeah. But the issue for me, I can understand where the constitution is coming from, and there's this, dilemma whether, where is the loyalty? Where is your loyalty going to be in this country? Yeah. So that will be very difficult for us to really say. But if we say that somebody is a citizen, for me, the bottom line is citizenship.
Yeah.
The citizenship should be the first one that people should consider, and the diasporans are citizens. But I don't want it to be as easy, take it and move it as well, because the diaspora also need to organize. And sometimes I say this, because the diaspora today, most of these things, they were just looking at the voting side. Now representation is another side. Now we're even looking at appointment. We're seeing that there are limitations to that.
Level.
Let them organize. You organize and then you advocate for those kind of things, so that as part of the reform process, things could be part of that. But you keep quiet and things just happen, you get affected until then you start. You shouldn't be like that. The diaspora continue and change Jammeh. They need to continue to advocate for things that will
and they are supporting even like the health sector a lot. In terms of areas. supporting them with materials, supporting them with a lot of things. No, aside from the remittance.
The case in the point particular, that is cabinet positions. You cannot hold cabinet positions if you are holding dual citizenship.
Constitution.
that is obnoxious.
Yeah, it's
one more reason why
so many people who would have really contributed would have been constrained.
Absolutely.
And blocked by this
absolutely.
law.
And there is a lot of brain drain, you know.
Yeah, that's right. We complain about brain drain, but
a lot in terms of
even people want to get out from wherever they are. They want to go home and are ready to contribute. They can't hold certain positions where their expertise might lie. So the country loses on that.
I mean, even so, we need to also. He's talking about brain drain, but we need to also, as a country, start thinking about brain gain. How much regain? Brain gain, regain. I mean, it's ours already. It's ours already. You know, because for me, sometimes when I engage with some of the diasporans and look at what they are doing there, I mean, a lot of expertise. We need the remittances to come back. But of course, those that want to come back in terms of, to work directly, we need to also create an enabling environment for them. Absolutely. So, I mean, I can honestly understand where it was coming from, this fear of allegiance and all those different stuff. But eventually, it has to be, we need to look at citizenship. And for me, that's where I
we have this entrenched belief in our ways that, okay, people always go out in search of greener pastures. Once they go to greener pastures, the next thing they talk about is home. And even if they're there, I mean, even people who have stayed in New York for 30, 40 years today, if you should give them a story building in, how do they number, in N Street or N1 Street, they will appreciate you uproot that building and bring it to Koina.
Guys, but Gambians who are Gambians at the same time they're in the United States and they have their citizens there. They are holding positions. Like major positions. For example, I don't know. Like the mayor of Oklahoma, there was a time that it was a Gambian, a migrant, an immigrant even, who was born and bred in Gambia and went to Oklahoma and became a mayor. And they didn't ask him to and the congressman, that guy, is it Samba Jao? Balde. Yeah. He is a Gambian. He was born in Choya here.
And he was not asked to renounce. He was not asked to renounce his government.
Nobody was not. And I saw a Gambian judge. A high court, for the first time in America.
In the West Indies, was it?
In the US, yes.
This Jallo was in the West Indies.
Exactly. So, guys, for me, I don't think that.
You see, and they've not been asked to renounce their Gambian.
They have not been asked.
You see the problem we haven't addressed.
I don't even know where that guy is. It the
Sweden?
Swedish. Yes, Malik.
Jallo. Is it Jallo?
Well, he has Gambian ancestors. Sometimes
that man you might say is totally born there.
Yeah, but come on, he's
second generation.
Exactly.
But the other point for this one is also the question of citizenship. We can talk about dual citizenship, but the main problem is citizenship. Where here a lot of people say just being born, you should be automatic. But we saw what the CRC said. But of course, there are quite different political opinions on whether automatic citizenship or otherwise. And I think these are things that could either help address some of the broader questions. But unfortunately, I mean, here there's a fear that, population size is expanding, in these years, Gambians will not be able to, address some of the basic things that we need. But we're not also looking at the fact that Gambians are migrating. Exactly. They're moving out,
Why would we accept our people from overseas? We see them as Gambians. We don't see them as any other thing. In all
and we celebrate them.
We celebrate them, except appointment.
Yes.
I've traveled. You must have traveled.
Of course.
I fly in and out to Banjul with people, Gambians, holding British or how to call it, or European passports. And when they come to Banjul, everybody, they just stamp it and ignore it and say, I forget about it. Say, no, I think they should supposed to have a visa. But everybody find it awkward that you come to Banjul and they ask you, where's your visa? Because you are holding American or some European passport.
I mean, it's the way we work. It's the way we work around certain things. And we also feel like this country has not been learning lessons from everything that is happening in the world. We are not progressing because sometimes it's just policies. How do we address some of these? Certain things are just legal. But it's also, typical. If you're not here, you're not part of it. It's a kind of Gambian mentality, or saying you're not here, you are part of it. So now even if you come back, they say, now the other question, they make you a stranger. You've not been here, you don't know the context, you don't know this, you don't know that. I mean, and at some point, what will start seeing is this conflict between the diaspora and Gambians. Absolutely. And this existed before, during the Jammeh days, where some of them were calling us cowards, and then we are calling them keyboard warriors. So those are things that the people need to avoid that and try to look at, better policies, trying to see, because the diaspora comes with qualification. They also come with resources,
skills,
and the skills. Yeah. And those things could be
and innovative ideas. And
look at us at UTG, we are struggling. Yeah. So imagine, attracting quite a lot of those coming in, but they cannot. So those are things that the country needs to start thinking about. How do we attract?
I mean, we accept them. We accept them in all those areas, except appointments in cabinet.
Yeah.
And now, very soon, the diplomatic service.
I think we are selfish in terms of.
No, it's the law. It's the law. Let's agree to change it.
But who changes the law? It's us.
But it's the government who should lead.
Exactly.
No. You see, the changing of law, yes, government should lead. But it's a responsibility. This constitution is not only government, it's all of us. So either way, we're going to be voting for the referendum, or everybody's going to participate. Absolutely. So we need to be aware of all these different issues so that we can participate effectively. But just you allow few people to start talking and discussing all these different issues, then the rest keep quiet.
Yeah.
Eventually they will make the wrong decisions and then we complain. Absolutely. But the constitution laws is everybody's business. Exactly. We push government, they lead, they go to the National Assembly. Yeah. From there we follow it up.
Indeed. Let's move on to the other topic now. Well, we've lost 2 ministers, and allegedly or supposedly because they hold dual citizenship. The government should explain to us why the other one is sacked, and maybe why, if that's not a personal reason, did the other resign. But the word around is that they may have been holding dual citizenship, which is against the law. Good. The judicial officials' remuneration bill, as well as the National Assembly salaries and benefits bill, were much talked about over the last few days. And there have been many school of thoughts on the area. While the government is insisting that it didn't, the bill, that is the judicial officials' bill, is not intended to increase anything, many people think that that is a wrong aspect. In the first place, it was envisaged to make salaries and other remunerations for judges to be attractive so that Gambians can desire for the job. The government made a comparison between the Gambia and other jurisdictions, to use their own language, other countries, Commonwealth and other countries. So the problem here is this: while the government itself is interested in making it attractive, they are denying that they are seeking to increase it. So I guess if you want to persuade people to really take your line of argument, you must first be honest with them.
Yeah.
I mean, they are saying that this is not increasing.
It's increasing.
And you are telling people that you want a scenario where an investigation and recommendation would be made so that positions, benefits, and other benefits of the judges can be attractive, so that Gambians can desire or aspire to hold that position. You are telling people that we are not increasing.
It's not even the salaries. It's the part of the bill is also increasing the per diems of judges and comparing it with the, like, for example, the Chief Justice should have a per diem compared to the Vice President.
Excellent.
Like, for example, I think they are receiving £350 per night. Either 350 or 400 per night.
Yeah.
So that is the same comparatively what comparison that they want to see. And a high court judge, the same amount that the ministers are having, that is the amount.
That is what has been
so it's beyond just salaries. It's beyond just and even other benefits, like, for example, the cow allowance, the housing, the robbing allowance is part of it.
Even the things that
so it's simply increasing.
No, the thing is, see what I find it said to be. Whereas you are telling us that our judiciary positions are not attractive.
Yeah.
Lawyers who have gone to private service have become millionaires. You cannot even convince them. Even if you appoint them Chief Justice, they will not take it.
They will not take it.
Because they know there's no money there.
Yeah.
You are telling us that you want that to be improved and enhanced so that Gambians can now see that, look, I have to take this job because it's that's my duty. But at least there are certain things there that at least can make me comfortable. You are trying to
comfortable even as of now.
You are trying to convince the whole Gambia to accept it like that. Yet you are saying that no, I'm not increasing it.
No, they are increasing.
So how can you then convince people without being honest with them?
In plain language,
tell the people in plain language, we need to improve these people so that people can have the job. And you are denying that we are not increasing.
I mean, for me, even the reason beyond what you discussed, beyond that is even the I look at it from these 2 points. Like me, I'm a political science guy, so we look at checks and balances. We talk about separation of powers. So the comparison of the justice and this other guy, I mean, I think
the executive.
So is I mean, if you're talking about separation of powers, trying to ensure, that there are also checks and balances, you need to make these regulations. Need to make these arrangements. But the point that you raise is the reaction of the public. Why is it that why is the public reacting in the same way? Because even if they were, the judiciary and everybody, we know it here. People, sometimes I see people complaining, oh, these court cases are wasting time, because we haven't just compared the budget of the judiciary with all the other governments. You see that the issue of justice is not a priority. It's not a priority in this country, and that's the one point. But for government, what they're thinking that this could address it is like addressing the bringing a judicial bill to improve their own remuneration.
Exactly.
But my argument with the National Assembly with the vehicle, my argument was that if these guys get the vehicle, then it will make sure that their works are done properly. But now it is problematic. Sometimes they are not getting the code. So I will still support things that are to the benefit of the institution, but sometimes we also need to look at that. Why are people reacting? Because people feel like it's just a certain group of people that are enjoying, and then the rest of society are not getting anything.
And there is a moral justification for that. Because if you look at granted, the position of a judge and judiciary is very important.
Very important.
Because of the fact, the hazardous things that they encounter. They convict criminals who might have access to huge revenue, who might be dangerous to them, their personal these things, and we know they need to be paid well. Now, that does not mean that others in the other sectors are not as important as these other people.
Absolutely.
There are peculiarities we know, uniqueness in every job, but look at it now. If a high court judge is going home or is been envisaged to go home with $100,000 a month, and even if he retires over 6 months or so, he should be paid the same salary he was. And there's 80,000. How much is the principal getting? What about qualified teacher?
So for me, I think government is doing a piecemeal increment, and then also they're concentrating on the elite class, the top brass. So in 2021, there was an approved pay scale.
Yes, the minister talked about it.
Exactly, in 2021. So what happened was, when they agreed, and later government,
well, the minister said that they feel that it's too much. They put it aside.
They put it aside. And now they started increasing 30%.
Yes.
And then what that does is you are still increasing.
You are helping
the
highest earner.
Imagine someone earning 100,000. For example, ministers now, they are earning 100,000 plus.
100,000 plus.
Yes. So now, if someone just 100,000, it means that guy is going to have 30,000, 130,000.
30,000.
Imagine someone earning 3,000. That guy is going to have just not 30,000.
300.
No, it's 300. No, maybe $1,000. Let's say $1,000. So that will be $4,000.
Yes.
And the guy is earning $30,000.
He's got another 30,000.
Another 30,000 on top of it. So
I don't know what the minister said. The ministers of civil service said,
I think it's still,
they formulated that, but they abandoned that.
But
because they know it is going to be too much money. So they brought this 30% increment.
But it's not fair.
So, but
they would have paid it.
And he was asked,
group.
When do you think then the one you've recommended will come? He said, when revenue improves. Now people are asking, why don't you wait? Why don't the judges and the parliamentarians wait until revenue improves?
And how would that increase when the labor force, those that are doing the work,
are not paid? paid starvation wage.
That's what I'm saying. So at least you peg it. For example, if you want to increase the 30%, you look at maybe the average grade.
Exactly.
You say from this grade to this grade, we are increasing maybe not 30% even. The 30% that would have been for ministers and stuff. Now you bring that maybe 60%
to the people
from the lowest from the average grade, and so that the gap.
So the issue
gap is huge. Even PS. If you look at
gap is terrible.
If you look at a PS and a minister, the gap is big.
It's terrible.
The gap is so big. The ministers are having maybe three times
more than the PS.
Yes. And then the PS are the ones doing the job.
And they are the ones who
technical. They are the CEO. They are the chief executive officer.
And you are the PS. Go to look at the schoolmaster.
That's what I'm saying.
The guy who spent 30 years teaching everybody from soldiers. And look at it. And if you talk about judiciary, where do you leave the police?
Even within the judiciary.
I'm asking you.
How about the clerk?
In practical terms.
How about the court clerk?
No, you see the court clerk.
Yes. The
secretary. Of course, that one is the same.
That's what I'm saying.
But when you say judiciary, where do you leave the police?
You
the police the first who arrest. Before somebody is appearing before the judge, the police must arrest.
Yes.
So
I agree.
You guys are talking about people with salary. What about those without salary?
Well, there we go.
What about the farmers?
Yes.
What about we can be saying what about? The problem in this country is uneven development.
Yeah.
The rich will get richer, the poor will get poorer.
Yeah.
It's the way that it is structured. You see, when I talk about structure, it's not just the legal.
Yeah.
You see, here people will prefer their kids to go and work in government. That's why it was earning higher. It's not this, when you go to Europe, it's these people with skills.
Yeah.
That's why people are not going into skills.
Exactly.
Yeah.
People go into skills, they earn more money because they earn it the way that they earn it.
Exactly.
But here, everybody wants to go to the office. And then now everybody wants to be paid, exorbitant.
In fact, in the past, people don't desire to go to government.
Yeah.
People want to go to the private sectors. But I see since the advent of this new regime, everybody wants to go to the MP because there's a lot of money there.
Yeah, there are a lot of
money in there.
There is a lot of money.
Let's look now about let's talk about.
But this is governance. Governance comes with money.
The National Assembly bill. I mean, they are telling us that they are not increasing. Fine, these are approved funds already, but they are putting a provision which says now, which they want this bill to cater for that. If, for example, I got into parliament in the middle or 3/4 way into the life of that parliament, 5 years, I should still be paid that 5 years gratuity that they give to every MP who served 5 years. That's what the new bill is asking for. Even if I start work in the tail end of that 5 years, I should be given full gratuity from that 5 years. They want that. And also, in case somebody dies in the middle of that 5 years, his or her spouse should get the benefit from that.
I think 25%.
25%,
and the other also guy who is coming also should get something.
So this is what they want now. So they want now,
and also they are talking about the recall, but there is no law that
says recall.
And now you are putting it in the law.
You are putting in the law now, and you don't have it.
And you don't have it. You don't have it.
So you look at the argument.
Yes, you don't have. You are talking about if a National Assembly is recalled.
Yes.
Then, but where is the law?
Where is the law that you record?
Yes, there's no law.
There's no law.
The framework is in the Constitution. Yeah. But there's no bill that states that how would you be recalled. Exactly. It's only the draft Constitution that has.
If you look at all these things,
so you cannot put something that is not in the law.
If you look at both bills, you see that all of them have their bread buttered. For now and the future. That's what's there written all over.
Well, I mean, you see, sometimes, when you talk, I'm just seeing symptoms of a broader problem that is emanating, and these are all the structural, the unevenness that I keep saying, because that's what it is, but for the National Assembly, yes, they said the remuneration, because this was done last year.
It was done.
But I also, sometimes, we focus on certain things without knowing where, like for even the judiciary. The judiciary, they don't need a bill to increase their salary because they have a budget. They can easily do it through the budget line.
Through the budget line.
So for me also, I am looking at these bills also in terms of the separation of powers, how it can generate, because the National Assembly is an autonomous institution now.
Yeah, that's right.
So they can make a decision of their own. And this is also, for me, even with the judicial bill, it seems like this is what was intended for the judicial service to even discuss, decide some of those things that they have to do.
That was why we said the bill seeks to increase the benefit, and they denied. They said, "Well, no, it's not. We are not seeking increment. I mean, if you want people
it's increment.
If you want people
I think
to
standard newspaper is correct.
My friend,
whatever
it is written all over that we want to make this attractive so that Gambians can desire for the job.
You guys,
when somebody tell you are seeking to increase, you said no. How can you convince people, to believe you and take your point when you are denying in the first place that this is what I want?
You guys speak the English language, so I don't know what is the difference between increase and all that. But one of the things that I also know is that, you see, if government wants people to see them as fair, they need to think about the whole society approach. Because the reaction is not because of this recent, because they started with certain people, they put that aside, and then you come at the last minute, then people seeing you. And in this country, people like to see justice done. And for me, that's one of my observation in Gambia. If they feel like one is being treated, more than the other, people will talk about those issues.
Exactly.
And a government must be seen to, be creating the enabling environment, because even in the civil service, they need to hire people. It's not as attractive as any other places.
That's right.
But that has to come with the reform. And if people think, and I'm talking to everybody here, and if people think that governance is cheap, we are joking. Governance is expensive. If we want a functioning democracy, if we want functioning institutions, we need to put in money. Yeah. But the money that we're going to put in there needs to be seen
to bring something.
Yeah, it needs to also ensure that there is effective service delivery for the people. But if people we spend that money and then there is no service, effective service delivery, people will continue to complain. But for me, what people are seeing right now, especially with this bill, I mean, is like they feel it's not fair. And it's as simple as
how about the doctors,
the
nurses,
the nurses?
But if you talk about those people, I talk about the farmers,
the teachers,
the farmers.
The farmers, you could argue, okay, 18,000 per ton, of groundnut. Well,
no. What can we argue? People that you sit here, you only work 3 months.
3 months and
9 months, zero.
Zero, absolutely.
So what about, like, you see, this country has a lot of problems. But we like to talk about this ping pong, correct?
Yeah.
This one versus this one. But the people that are really suffering are not us. The ones that are talking. Yeah. Those are the ones that are in the farm. Those that farm 3 months and the rest of the month they don't have anything because there is no water. How about we create those environments for those people?
Some communities they do the Kirambotta thing, Hirande and Botari.
Hirande Botari together.
Yeah, definitely. Kirambotta. In Siara, like for example, you will wait until you will not have lunch.
Yeah.
You wait
until dinner is coming.
Dinner is coming
around 6-5.
Yeah, and you have your lunch, and then that is it. And it's happening.
Yeah,
this is for me. These are the issues that we need to be talking about. The everyday issues. Yeah. But you cannot give people money.
Yeah.
You cannot give people money. How are you gonna do that? Is to invest in the things that can bring people money.
Yeah.
And today, they are prioritizing. Yes, I like the road. It's good for me. I mean, I was telling MS that now 30 minutes I get to where I want to get to. But the rural communities,
road means very, very little for them.
And it's not only roads, but only access to farm.
Even within the greater Banjul area, it's a problem.
Yeah, I know.
Some places in this greater Banjul area.
Oh yes.
KM,
you leave the highway. You are.
Oh my
God! When we talk about roads in the Gambia, highway we are talking about.
What I'm trying to say is that even at the budget level, we are prioritizing the construction of roads and all those things. I mean, the same orientation should be given to the cost of living.
Cost of living.
Why can't we for next 2-3 years? Why can't we prioritize the productive sectors so that those that are in farming could be supported? We are investing, giving contractors millions to construct roads. We can create the same opportunities for others, and it is all coming from the local fund. So those things are the things that government needs to do.
So let's talk about the FGM. That's an issue that's still going. I mean, people will say, look, they have put me off now. They've brought a topic that is not important. I mean, these things we're talking about, many people think what we should talk about, and FGM is not an issue. But it has become now a bit of a monster now in our national discourse. We can't avoid it because Parliament is going in the next couple of days to make a decision whether to keep the law
or not.
Yes.
The bill.
Now, Again, the school of thoughts are this. When we keep the law there, we will definitely rhyme with what, is the dictate of the civilized world, so to speak, the people who are fighting for the protection of women and girls to get them from harm's way. The other school of thought is when we ban in, we are killing our culture and selling out to the Western cultures. We have had, only last week I had somebody here, a highly educated woman actually, who's gone through the process and protecting and defending the practice. So we have this very serious school of thoughts now. All of them now are ready, putting pressure on the parliamentarians to do their bidding. How do we go about this now?
I mean, right now for me, the first thing, let me be transparent. I'm an anti-FGM campaign. I'm anti-FGM.
Oh yes, yeah.
And I think I've started this since 2014 when we.
You are anti-FGM. You rather want the law to stay how it is.
Of course, we were the ones that advocated for the law.
Yeah.
We advocated for the law. From a youth perspective, because in 2014 we organized a national youth forum where we looked at it, and most of the outcomes that come here were focused on the health. I mean, we are cultured. We are from here. But at the end of the day, among us as young people, we said, it is affecting women, it is affecting everybody. Even men, sometimes it affects them and they don't want to talk about that. So we can focus on the narratives. Say that this is Western, this is that and that and that, and ignore the harm, the health aspect that it is causing to the people. We can do that. But if we really focus and want to be serious, we need to listen to the women that have gone through it. They have seen the impact, and then they're talking about that. That's what we need to be doing. And instead of just getting into the narrative, West versus, I don't care about the West. Who is the West?
Well, the woman I'm talking to you about last week said that activists have been used and given a lot of money. It's now a money-making enterprise, according to her. He said personal homes have been built, people have got rich, propagating anti-FGM, and she believed. And she's highly educated, a PhD holder, she said. Mrs. Fuambai Shia Ahmadu is her name. Half Sierra Leone, half Gambian, and half United States. I don't know. We're talking about multiple citizens. For her, she has a citizenship everywhere. Yeah. She is in the country and definitely stepping up a campaign against the others, people like you, Sait Matty. Now, what do you make of her argument that in the United States or in the West, according to her, the people who allegedly are funding the activists, women go into surgeries, they call them surgery, small hospitals, and request and get this surgery done on them. Yet they won't call that FGM. And they pay $7,000 to get that done on them. But then they will still...
But who decides? Who decides? Are they the ones going for that surgery? Or is it
an adult?
No, but then who decides for the little girl here?
That's what I'm saying. Do they decide?
If you have the who decides for the little girls here?
It's the parents. That's what I'm saying. That's the point I'm making.
So she said that the whole thing is a Western culture. They're pumping money. To fight against our culture.
I don't think it's the case.
Create money for this. So, what do you make of this?
Here even before her. I
think I should compare.
Even before her. This is an opportunity to talk also. Yeah. We have had the same arguments here. They're giving us money. You see.
Yeah, I know activism.
So FGM is linked to sexual and gender-based violence, basically.
Yes.
And globally, everywhere, even the UN, even our government is putting money into those different stuff.
Yeah.
They come and say, you're receiving money. Every aspect, everything that is on the global agenda receives money from people that care about those issues.
Yes.
And sometimes you don't need to, what you care about, you don't even need to spend money to do that. Yeah. You only spend money when you do advocacy. Like if I have to travel here to move to somewhere, talk to certain communities, that's what your advocacy is. Yeah. And I agree, there is quite a lot of money in FGM. People like me, we were retired. They were the ones that brought us back. We are not the ones that giving people, because globally people care about this issue. It is cutting. You are talking about cutting, violating people's rights, and people want to spend money to ensure that does not happen. And so you wonder, they have been given money by the West. Our government is giving money by the West.
Yeah.
You know, are we not talking about these projects that have been...
And they are building hospitals.
They are building hospitals with money. Everybody is giving money by
the OIC. Now you can just say, okay, now this one is given by the West. Let me finish. So
I think excuse that's just a myth. They cannot tell you what are the benefits.
Yeah.
Either they'll just come and say, oh, these are anti-West, Western prophets, Western this, Western that. Yeah. And who are you? What are you speaking from? On what perspective are you speaking from?
All right. Where should we stand as journalists in these two point of view?
Yes.
Because listen, if you suppress the views of the people who are anti-FGM or pro-FGM, you are accused of siding one at the expense of the other.
For me,
so what would you advise?
For me, as a journalist, I believe it's a human right issue. And journalists are there to ensure that rights are respected and not violated. If you look at FGM, for example, Gambia is a signatory to all these international conventions. For example, the Maputo Protocol. These are African women, including Gambian women who advocated for the Maputo Protocol to come. I think they advocated over a period of 10 years before the Maputo Protocol was agreed by, there was a signatory. And the UDI, you understand what I'm saying? So for me as a journalist, I'm not saying don't give side to the other camp. You have to make sure, but you also have to look into victims. Like, for example, those that went into it and look at evidence, things that are happening. In terms of human rights, journalists should definitely make sure that they don't give voices to people that just come and make opinion out of it, allegations. They should even fact check some of the people, some of the claims. You understand? If you are speaking based on evidence, yes, you have to be giving a voice. But if you are speaking based on allegation, for example, these people are giving money by the West. I've seen someone sent an audio. Someone was speaking saying that, UNICEF has supported whatever.
Bribe journalists.
To
go on track and make contents.
And that was not
in favor of anti-FGM.
But that was not the case. That's not true. So,
you guys are also receiving the accusation.
You are doing your job.
We have not been spared. We have been lambasted from every corner.
For me, we have to be realistic. And for them, even the fatwa of the Supreme Islamic Council states that FGM is haram in Islam. For them, the argument is FGC. But now who policies that FGC? That is the female genital cutting.
You see, according to people from the school of thought of Fuambai, it is a deliberate policy to distort the facts by the West and the propagandists who brought in mutilation supposedly to put off everybody.
But it is happening in the Gambia.
Lamin. He said
mutilation is happening in the Gambia.
She said very minimal mutilation is happening in the Gambia. What's happening in the Gambia according to her is just it's just a little.
They are sealing people. I can tell you this.
There's very few.
I know people who lost their marriages, or some people who are in marriages, and then they are suffering because of that. I know one of my friends, I will not name.
So now,
what happened, the wife, they separated because they have to go and then open that seal again. These are serious things that are happening in this country. And women are not also speaking.
Yeah, because how can they speak when men are just jumping around everywhere, talking and controlling the whole narrative?
People are allowing
that. All right, now, what is not your body? It's not even your body. It's somebody else's body.
Okay, now listen now. Let's go back to this. The government seem to have now taken a position. How does it reconcile with the fatwa of the, the fatwa of the Supreme Islamic Council and the imams who have spoken outrightly and forthrightly, who've been alleged to be inciting people against? I mean, they have not given up. They are still talking about it. How do we reconcile the two now?
Lamin, when we started with this, we know that it was a sensitive issue. Today now is even you don't see me talking about it, but before we used to get to people's houses. In 2014-15, we used to do boot camps. People were insulting. So it seems like the generation of activists have grown into this. That's why today you are hearing that. And this was our intention, to make it a topic so that people can talk about it and people that can learn from it to stop it. Yes, we are an advocacy group. We are advocates and we talk about that because that's what we do. The religious leaders are also advocates. They're advocating for something that they believe in. That's why we said, you need to be sensitive. You need to ensure that you do not do no harm. But they are just looking at one side. They're looking at religion. They're not looking at health. They're not looking at the other side. And government has a right to look at all the other side and see how to protect their own children. And this is what is, this is the position that they have taken.
Well, the government frequently agrees with Supreme Islamic Council when it comes to Islamic matters, but
no, but you see,
this time around they seem to be doing the right thing.
Like usually I don't speak. I'm from religious, but I don't speak on Islam because this is not my area. They are the ones that speak on it. They can speak on that. But if it gets to the political,
what about if they are saying that this is Islamic?
No, if they say I cannot.
There is a counter argument.
No, Lamin, I cannot speak on that because they are the experts on that.
Yeah.
For me, where my expertise is on the political side. Now they are into the political realm, and I'm going to talk about that. Because this is advocacy. And advocacy, if you're in the politics, you need to talk about that. Now the government needs to look at all the, conventions that it has signed, all the protocols that it has signed.
The agreements, right?
The government needs to look at that. Because somebody, let me finish.
Has now come, but the critics, rather the FGM proponents, are still saying the government itself has come under pressure from President Biden or whoever, Blinken,
you see,
Foreign Secretary Clinton and others. They say the government is under pressure now.
Yeah, because those people don't understand.
But it took government a long time.
Yeah, government was, people need to be, I have been here and I am not just going to speak because I want people to be happy or angry. They can feel, I'm a citizen.
No, I
speak my mind.
Both sides of opinion.
And I am on one side. But one of the things that I felt at the beginning when this noise started, I wanted us to have a conversation, to have a dialogue. Because a dialogue was the only way. Because one side, they just come, and this is why I also find it very interesting. That you said you are defending Islam, but you come and put accusations on people that are doing things genuinely without even considering it. Because people, for me, what I do in my work is also because of what my religion taught me. I see it as jihad, speaking out when it is true and all those different stuff. It's my own personal work. And also protecting people from harm is also what I consider that. So you can interpret your own religion the way you see it, but other people can interpret it differently. But, when the issue started, we're supposed to have a dialogue. Because people, there's this, you cannot just change society overnight. People must talk about these issues, must look at it, and each one will know their role. But this bill went to Parliament through a private member. Government has no hand in that.
Yes.
So government, the first thing that they need to do is to allow the political process, the democratic process to continue.
I see, yes.
And that's where it is.
Yeah.
But for me, if I had my way, this bill was not going to get into Parliament. And what is the bill saying also? The bill is not proposing anything else. It's saying delete because his culture is religion, so delete this, delete that. What can people negotiate with that? So for me, the best thing is if they're really interested, they need to look at it, more interestingly and then look at that. But government's duty is to protect everybody, the kids in particular. And for me, if Parliament need to ensure that this bill stay, because it is what is right. It's our own national interest. It's everything that we need to do.
Looking at the outcome of the conduct or the trend from the parliamentarians in the adoption of the committee reports, it does seem that the bill is going to die. If you're going by that,
going by that.
If that outcome, if the conduct
over 36,
if the trend we show up in the behavior of the parliamentarians, anything to go by,
it's going to die.
That's why I'm telling you, the bill is problematic. The bill itself is problematic. If we are leaving the narrative in terms of support Noko or support Noko, but the bill itself is problematic. The bill, and for me, the proponent itself, he's doing his job, but it's interesting for me. This is the very guy that comes out every day talking about Jame stuff. And this was a bill that was passed by Jame. And this is the same guy that talks about Jame all the time. That is removing something that was done by Jame.
Yeah.
So for me, sometimes,
it's a contradiction.
It's politics. We are the political field. So for me, I'm talking politics.
What do you make of people who said, well, okay, we may not support this bill that's going to repeat it, but we would not also like our people to be arrested and prosecuted. And if the law is there, it has to be reinforced.
So the law is for that. Yes.
But isn't it not reinforcement that brought us to this?
That's why I said,
because the law had been there. Nobody had any problem with it. But it's reinforcement that brought us to this. What is going to happen with enforcement if you put the law there?
Well, the law must be enforced. That's the law. But now today, you see, the law doesn't know Cham or anybody.
Yeah.
It's just there and say, don't do this. And if you do it, this is the way it's gonna go.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not targeting anybody. It's just saying that this is what it is. But for me, I feel that
But didn't you think
let me come.
If authorities found it difficult to enforce the
law, my focus, for me, the focus, I think, moving forward, it should be on education.
Yeah.
Because our target was not to, because we cannot, with FGM, you cannot convince the older generation. Because they've experienced it, they lived it.
You have hit the nail now.
I mean,
they are a group you cannot just...
You cannot convince. So we know that from 2014. I told you I've been here in 2014.
So what are you going to do now? If there is a law, you basically say you cannot enforce the law.
That's why if you look at the youth movement, working on FGM, their target is to end FGM within their generation.
Exactly.
Because it requires education. Yeah. I mean, why are we men getting involved? Because we went to school with girls that went through it, that explained to us, that show us the troubles that they're going through, and we felt it's something that we need to pick up. But education is what it's needed.
But if you say education, when you have educated women themselves, still proponents of FGM,
yeah, but some of them
confused.
But some of them are accepting it. A lot of Ngansimbas now. Most of them, even if you ask them why they are doing it, they will tell you it's a source of income for us and pride and prestige. Most of them, they will not tell you the religion aspect of it. So some of them are realizing that, wow, this thing is causing harm. And the way it is also done is definitely scary. Like you don't go through a conventional health facility or whatever. You
only go to conventional health when you have health issue. Yeah. This is not a health issue.
Yeah, that's
take a whole
so that's what I'm saying. So it's a problem. It's problematic. Now, for me, as FGM is the case. For me, I think the law should definitely be retained, and let's see how best we can educate the masses. I know it will not be like an eye for an eye or an eye for an eye stuff. So I think for me, government has a lot of work to do to ensure that they engage these communities, to educate them, to give them a reason to understand that this is very harmful, and also those that are practicing it to be venturing into productive stuff. Like, for example, if you are in Ngansimba, this is your pride, this is your office, or this is your skill or whatever. How can you engage those people into productive ventures so that they will desist from practicing this kind of things? Not just to say, yeah, this is the law and then we are going to, yeah, I know it will be difficult, but I think we can also look into this.
The other thing is, you see, for me, that's the question that you were asking in terms of what is the possible limitation of the law.
Yes.
And the other limitation one can say, this is done behind closed doors. I mean, if people lock themselves inside and do whatever, how would people know unless it is reported?
Yeah.
So in that way, the law will need the public buy-in. But eventually, the argument at this point is being pushed by different narratives. Narrative of these are Western puppets and all that. We don't care about the West. Myself, I don't care about the West. I care about Gambia. For me, this is where it is. And as somebody that cares about Gambia, it's not only myself that I'm looking at. I'm looking at the future. Because today, if somebody goes through, let's look at the cost, of FGM. Yes, the kid can have bleeding and all those things. This is already documented. There is the clearly health evidence, and it is being trained everybody. So these professors moving around, coming up with this narrative, we are used to that. We are used to people, coming up with narratives, wanting to be Pan-African to show who they are. But in reality, it's a different ballgame. So there's clear health issues that have been evident, that has been documented, and people see that is problematic. That's one side. But outside that, tomorrow, today we talk about all this maternal mortality. Here in this country, we just don't care about anything. It just happened and we blame somebody else. For me, this is how I see this country. But what is causing all these maternal mortality issues that we are looking at? I'm not saying that it's FGM. I'm not saying, because they say that some of these issues have bleeding and all those things do also contribute to that. So for government itself, you can sit and look at, I mean, if everybody go through that and we are seeing all this health, it's going to cost more money. Now you don't have doctors, you don't have all this, and some people are saying, let's medicalize it. What are you going to medicalize? You know, so for me the issue is
like you make
it put it in the convention, like just like the men,
just like they do in what
they used to do in Egypt.
America.
No, what they do in America is plaster labia or something. This is a grown-up adult. So it's the person. You see grown-up adults. Yeah, grown-ups. When we are talking about children here. These are grown-ups that go out and then do whatever they want with their bodies.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, an 18-year-old that wants to cut herself, what am I?
Yeah.
I cannot say anything about that.
Yeah.
It's an adult that is deciding for themselves.
Yeah.
You know.
So the issue is subjecting children who might not have any voice.
Yes, but also the thing that people don't look at. You see, when you are a child, when you are kids, when we go to circumcision, it heals fast. Yes, it heals fast. But for the woman, they will not feel it at that time. They will not even know it. And by 2014, that's when I know that most of the girls in this country, they don't even know their anatomy. And we're not teaching this in school. We're not teaching about anatomy. We're not teaching about sexuality. We're not teaching about anything. And we want to move as a society. We want our women to be healthy. We want all these things. And we are not doing those things. And that's when I realized that even some of those guys that were at that forum did not know that they were caught.
I see.
You know? And imagine when they know that they were caught, when they were kids, what were they saying?
They were angry about it.
Angry and crying. And that's why today, if you look at this FGM movement, most of the people you find there are survivors. And that's why when people say it's not true, it's not reality, people get angry. Me, I'm not speaking for them. Me, I am supporting, pushing. Because what they are fighting is their own bodies, and it is what they are supposed to do. And because men think that they have the power, they have no power to control anyone.
Okay, finally, what is your message to the parliamentarians about this bill that is coming, contentious bill coming?
In this country, Gambia is known on one thing.
Yeah.
Globally, we are going everywhere. We are promoting human rights. Yeah. We are in Myanmar. We are taking what? You know, they can talk about. We are not taking
a case to
the International Criminal Court. This is what we are doing as a country. And we're not talking about the issue of Palestine.
Yeah.
We are fighting human rights everywhere, but not for our women and our children. And for me, at the end of the day, I mean, this is more like hypocrisy. And this is what we need to address. And that's why Parliament need to pass this. You need to ensure that they reject this bill to ensure that what is there stays. Because, yes, for me, that's what I say.
We're now going to, we still stay, but we are going on a journey of discovery. Because over the last couple of weeks, you might have been following a gentleman who was at the cover of Journey of Discovery, the Honorable Humble Vicente Gomez. I mean, he actually undertook a unique journey of discovering the Gambia that you and I will probably find it difficult to do. Over the Topaski period, he walked his way up to Fatoto and Koina and other places. Walk. Yes. His mantra is walk.
Yes.
Walks. So walk on it. Listen to welcome to the brunch. I promise you that you will be on the brunch. Before we start, yes.
Please, for the Gambia of homeland.
Wow.
Choose your color, pass it on. We do everything.
I think this scholarship.
For the Gambia of homeland.
Wow. Very interesting. Very interesting.
I'm so glad to be here.
Very good.
Thanks, honestly, for inviting me.
I have got a clip.
I've met my brothers here.
I have got a clip. I gave a clip to our technicians. I gave a clip to Charles for us to look at that first. For our viewers to look at that first. I think it's one of your latest, engagement this morning. Actually, I guess.
Wow, you saw it.
Yes, but it encapsulates what you have been doing over the last.
In this village of Kashikali.
Over the last weeks or so.
Yes,
so, Charles, if you are ready, let's take a look at what Vicente has been doing this morning and talk about what he has been discovering over the last 3 weeks.
I've been seeing him everywhere, but I didn't know what the humble Vicente.
Yes.
Walking indeed walks, so you should walk on it. Yes, you see my partner here walking with me. Blessing is a blessing. Blessing is my blessing. Here we are, walking from Bakau to Banjul. Yes, Bakau to Banjul. It's doable, and who knows, I may walk back from Bakau to Banjul. It's a matter of choice. Everything we do in life has to do with decisions and choices we've made. So there we are. If I choose to walk, that's my own decision, it's my choice. And once it works, why not? I'll keep walking. And those of you who choose to sleep or not do anything about your health, that's also your choice. So be ready to be any consequences. But hey, you've been reminded, you've been informed, you've been told, you've been urged to walk. Because walking works. So my partner is coming, my walking partner. That's dependable blessing. There we are. En route to Banjul. That's the way I'll be taking. And this is where I am from. And you can see Blessing serving as a traffic officer there for now. I'm a loyal and dependable citizen. Come, Blessing, let's go. All right, I was waiting for the vehicles to pass. See you when I see you. Stay safe and blessed and keep on keeping on. From Bakau to Banjul at most is just 13 kilometers. That's what I'll be doing right now. Saturday, yes, June 29, 2023. That way leads you to Brikama end, Serakuna Brikama. Bakau this way, and then you have Banjul this end. Vehicles are coming from Banjul and these ones are going to Banjul. See you when I see you. The island city of Banjul, here I come. Stay safe, stay strong, stay blessed. Keep on keeping on. For wondering, my partner is here. Blessing is still with me.
Oh, you want more?
I have a training.
Oh, you have to go. Well, yeah, all right. We can get rid of, we can take leave of Sait Matty, who is, but then we are wrapping up anyway. We have this step.
No, before he leaves, I have a message. For him. He was not like this 10 years ago.
Tell
I need to talk to him.
Tell me, what on earth inspired you and what message you want?
Well, you've talked about rights.
Yeah.
We all have a right to good health. Sadly, we focus more on curative health. And that's why we are honestly struggling as a people and as a country. Sorry to say this. A lot of people in their workplaces take a lot of EDs as a result of what? Inactivity. That's one. Number two, it's sad to see people in the security services or even in the health profession getting obese. Very sad. I must say this because we sometimes associate it or link it with good health. Now, I decided to go on self-discovery. Remember, it's a journey of self-discovery. I wanted to discover myself. As a kid, 7 years old, I used to walk from Kitty to Brikama to Mandua. Mandua, Brikama to Kitty. About 12 kilometers to and fro school. 7 years, I did that. But now, just walking 3 kilometers for some of us, it's a challenge, it's a problem. What has gone wrong with us? What has gone wrong? Number two, there are people from Westfield to Tabokoto who find it difficult to walk. And Westfield to Tabokoto at most is 4 kilometers. They do it in the villages all the time.
Absolutely.
Why are we not doing it here? We have congestion. Now, another thing is you can stand waiting for a vehicle for an hour or more. And you even complain when you could have easily walked. And it just take you 30 minutes.
You could have done the distance.
And guess what? The saddest thing is those of us from the villages are the ones who have refused now to walk when we used to walk kilometers to and fro school. What has gone wrong? So people like me decided to rediscover ourselves. That the things we used to do when we were younger that were good for us, were better for us, are the things we've now shown and adopted ways and means that are bad for us. A lot of people want to sit on airco from morning to night. You need to get up and walk. But they didn't do that. From airco to airco, from the office to the house, air condition. It's like the air you always breathe is conditioned. I need natural air. Walk in the woods, you just breathe everything else. You spend so much on bills and pills, electricity bills. You know, you go and take pills all the time when you can just chill out there in the wood. What's going on? We have a fine beach from Banjul to Kato. People hardly even utilize it. I walk along the beach most of the time. I don't see anybody out. And all we do is just sit around our neighborhood inhaling pollution and pollutants around us. Because our gutters are not the best place, but that's where you see people brewing attire or sitting and chatting while they're breathing bad air, which is actually affecting their health. You see, preventive health is key, but sadly, it is what we have relegated to the doldrums. Sorry to say this.
You've been around the country. Tell me, how were you received?
Honestly, Gambians are lovely and wonderful. Unless you venture out, you wouldn't know it. I think our hate, bitterness and bickering is within the greater Banjul area. Outside of here, trust me, I've been to places I've never known anybody and they gave me free lunch and dinner and accommodation. I got it. And they didn't actually discriminate against me because of my tribe, my ethnicity, or my religion or so. We just belonged. But then also it has to do with you. I could speak almost all the languages of some of these communities, so I easily belonged. Yes. But assuming they had spoken to me in their own language and I couldn't respond, it would be a different ball game.
Then they would take you as a stranger.
So this is where we should talk about diversity. And it is mentioned in our national anthem. Our diversity is our strength.
Absolutely.
We should be unified or united in our diversity. Sadly, that is what has even disintegrated some of us and set us apart.
You also discover things that we don't know.
You said, well, now the St. John series. God knows, this is our flora.
Let me have a test. This is
medicinal as well as nutritious.
Absolutely.
And that is why I'm
when I was young,
the National Nutrition
Agency. used to take this every day.
Some of these fruit trees are even fading away now.
These things were honestly they are meant to actually boost your immunity.
You know,
Neto is from this.
It's from Neto. Yeah, exactly.
You know, it was when I went to Nigeria that I got to know the actual English name for this. It's locust beans.
Locust beans. That is true.
I heard them say locust beans.
Exactly.
And they got Neto. I said, my country, they say, well, the name.
And guess what? If you make juice out of this,
I took it.
Man.
We used to do in the data. You know, I went to the data.
But they are fading. Most of our fruits are
discovered.
It's because you, the journalists, are not promoting it. Sorry to say this. We don't seem to have future stories. I sit and I watch most of the programs on TV. I don't see anything that touches my heart. That's why I actually embarked on this. Because producers are not producing that which, for me, is original and the best for us. All they do is bring people here to talk about politics.
Yes.
Bring people here to talk about human rights. Bring people here to talk about what you have right here and there.
You have done all of
us. A problem. I am not in any way saying that is not right. But what I'm trying to say is let's bring out that which is very rich among us. And this is one of those things. Nutrition, medicinal. It's nutritious and medicinal. You will see a lot of these plants. You know what they call ulokonoduto?
Yeah, dudakubo. We used to call dudakubo.
In CRR and URR, it's like their staple food.
And
they don't have oh yes.
You know how long I have seen that?
It's lovely. I wish I brought some for you.
I love that.
Tabo. You know, it's like I told you, that is a journey to self-discovery. In my village of Kitty, there's no forest now. There are estates everywhere and they bastardize the land and everything. It saddens me when I go back to places I used to be a kid.
Tabo and Neto.
I know more. Even our own area that used to be very bushy between Kitty and Brikama, where you now have the Jamise estate, is all gone.
It's all gone.
And that's where we used to get almost all types of wild fruits.
At least you have some between you and Sifowat.
Yeah.
Yes. But provided in the long run, it will not just be like, there you are. So you can imagine what we are doing to ourselves. We are not protecting our environment. That is why we are also suffering. Our environment serves as a buffer. It's there to protect us, to guard us. Sadly, but all said and done, as I said, I went to Koina. I saw something I've not seen in other communities. Community policing, where the people in the community took up responsibility of protecting and securing themselves. It is only when the case now goes beyond them that they may involve the police. Otherwise, they handle things at their own level. And it's working for them. And they said if they've been doing that for the past 20 years, that's a future story for a journalist. Go there and work on that. Right? Secondly, I've been told also it happens in Gambisara. I've not been to Gambisara. I just passed by Sotuma. So that is something that we should be bringing out. That is number one. Number two, I've also been to communities where water is a problem. Here we complain. Those people there, even to just have it sometimes is difficult. And I went to Sonkunda, and I was told sometimes they fight over fetching water, and they take turns, family by family, to fetch. Let's say today is your turn, tomorrow is his family's turn. Yes, I've been told. It's not
In the Gambia.
Now, because you are here, you wouldn't know. I went to Same as well as how do you call it, Nyani, that is in Sinchu Malik Bari. Water too was a problem. And guess what? I've moved from Brikamaba to Flabanta, and then took a vehicle to Yoruberekunda, and walked from Yoruberekunda to Jarumekoto. Came back to Kolekunda and went right inside, because I was exploring. I just wanted to see any road I see, I just take it. I didn't care where it takes me.
You could have met lions and
whatever it is. All I knew is people use those roads. So who am I not to use them?
Yeah.
So, and I try to make sure that whatever the people out there do, I do it. I work in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, and at night. Remember when I was going to yeah, exactly. Barajali tender, you were like, be careful, it's getting late. And that was true.
Yeah.
Yes, because I was walking up to around 8 o'clock when I got to the tender. People are still doing their thing. Sometimes, if you miss the ferry, what do? You take a canoe. And when you cross over, you cannot spend the night there. That's not your destination. You have to go somewhere else. So they have to walk through all those thick bushes during the night. Who am I to be scared when those people are doing it? And if I'm scared because I need protection or security, what about them? So these are life stories that you, the journalists, should be embarking upon. Be part of the story, and you'll be able to tell the story better. But when we sit here, the airco is blowing us, we are drinking or whatever it is, we don't mind much about that.
He's asking a politics question.
No, which is okay. We don't have a problem with that. But what I'm trying to say is I'm urging you, challenge the journalists to go and bring these future stories. The farmers there were begging for rain. Because I saw farmers moving all the way from Sandu to Nyamila and Fuladu to actually look for grass for their cattle to graze. And even to drink. Yes, I've seen it. Nobody told me. And I've interacted with them. Miko Gainakotiki. I was a shepherd. That's what people don't know. When they see me with child, they say, well, I'm not a child. They don't know. They don't understand.
Yes.
So it's because they've not lived what I have lived. They've not gone through what I went through. So I don't honestly discuss with somebody who doesn't know my past. Those who know my past, I can talk with. Those who don't, if they care, they ask, and I'll share with them. So this journey was honestly to discover myself and try to make sure that I get back to the village. Even though they tried to get the village out of me, because I've been out of the village for long, it's been difficult. So I went back now for more reinforcement. So those who are trying to get the village out of me, don't try it. I'm rooted now.
Humble percent
Thank you very much, my brother.
Well, the whole nation owes you a debt. And thank you very much for bringing out things.
I went to pave the way for people now to go and now see the realities on the ground. Sometimes some of these people, all they ask for is just 3 things: water, quality education. Getting an education is one thing, but quality education is another, and access to health care and facilities. That's all they need. The rest they can manage with that. And some of them, honestly, all they need also for their animals is water and grass. And we have enough of water in CRR. Our river is all fresh water. But what are we doing about it?
We're not getting it.
You go, some of our projects that you and I used to hear about in those days,
they are now.
The Jahari Pacha has been there. I don't know what to say. I've been there. I don't know what to say. But these are things we need to go and try to see what worked before, where things went wrong, and how to actually get them back. Unless we develop our productive base and also ensure quality health through preventive health and activity, we'll have a long way to go. Because what you eat also has something to do with your health.
You have to.
Because most of the things we eat nowadays
Oh,
are the leftovers from Europe and America. The burgers. And that's why some of us will put on weight and everybody will think we are doing when actually we are just getting closer to what we all don't want to hear.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure being here. But I must thank people and those in the communities.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sincerely, when I was living here,
yeah,
I didn't believe I was going to do what I did. But because I started it,
yeah,
and I was going live for the first time,
yeah,
I saw people's interest in it.
That's right.
I said, then I have a challenge. I can't stop, and I won't stop.
Yeah.
I started moving. But also, I must thank people who accommodated me.
Yeah.
Some people saw me just like you online,
yeah,
and they spoke to their family members.
So
that when I get there, they provide lunch for me.
I saw one place where you were given tabaski ram.
Thank you.
You ate some
that was in Wunde.
Okay.
Thanks to Dudu Jawne.
Oh, time out.
Yeah. Now Dudu happens to be the brother of my former teacher.
Wow.
Mr. Janko Jawne.
Oh,
now Janko even called me on the way because I didn't know who was following me.
Yeah.
But when I talk about where I was going, or people saw the area and they realized it is close to their area, they tried to reach out. Where are you going? You are in my hood or so. And that was how he did. He told me, don't pass the house, pass by the house.
Yeah.
I know
both Dudu and Janko.
When I got to the house, I spent almost, and they almost asked me to spend the night, but I had somewhere to go. I told them, bear with me. I'll be back. So
I saw you with it.
Thank you. They gave me something to take along. And guess what? I took that to Fadodo and gave it to my host there at night. That was when they come out. Yes, they cannot accommodate me, feed me, and I still clip onto what was given. No. You could hear now.
And in any case, you cannot keep it for long.
Exactly. You know. But honestly, I'm grateful. But I had two incidents that were very funny.
Oh, what is that?
Frightening and funny. The first incident was when I went up to Sonkunda, and came back to Bani, where I ate lunch. That was during the Eid. Then I went to Laube. Now from Laube, I wanted to use the back way instead of the main road to go to Sotuma, Jawakunda, where of course you have Kristi Kunda. You know what I mean? Yeah. You need to do a lot of history about that. And then Koina.
Yeah.
Now between Laube and Sotuma, it was a thick bush. Now they told me what route to take. Yeah. But you know, along the line, I think I got lost.
Okay.
So I needed somebody to direct me. Guess what? Nobody around. Now I saw somebody coming with a motorbike, and I was excited that okay, there's somebody who will show me the way. Now this guy saw me because of my child and everything. I got frightened and he quickly put his motorbike. Now I should have been scared.
That guy must be. Baribu is too far from there. I would have said Baribu.
No, so when he went back, I didn't see any other person coming. I was like, hang on a minute, where would I go? So I continued going because thinking that I would definitely see a house somewhere. There was no luck for me. Then another one came. This time around, they were two. Now they came, but they refused to get closer to me. They were where you were, and I was here. And I stopped them, but they wouldn't come closer to me to talk to me. So I was talking to them from a distance. Now guess what? Instead of sending me to Sotuba, where they came from, they took me to Jawakunda. That was fun.
It was interesting.
You know, and honestly, and again, as I said, when I also went to Sinchu Malik Bari, I had to go to Jarume again using the back way, and it was a thick forest. A similar thing happened.
Nobody would come near.
Like, no, the thing is, it's not that they were scared. But, you know, meeting somebody maybe
strange. You appear strange.
And in the midst of a forest.
And only time you went to the Gambia National.
Oh yes, of course. I need to let them know that this is for the Gambia homeland. Whatever I was doing was for the Gambia homeland. You know, so that's the thing. But at the end of the day, really, I enjoyed the whole thing. And I avoided, just as you always advise, to walk at night. Unless if it is somewhere where at least I am able to meet many people also.
Wow.
You know, but all said and done, I'm glad that I took up the journey. And I hope and pray that we'll definitely listen to those people out there and support them in all ways. We have a lot of NGOs around this end. We have a lot of projects around this end. Granted. But please, those who are able to provide water to those people out there, provide access to education, so quality education. And I mean quality. Education can be accessible, but quality may be rare. Here, you know, there are certain schools when you name them here, you would want your child to come here.
Absolutely.
Now, if I'm posted there, I don't even want to go with my child there because to me, the education there is not qualitative. So then we are already discriminatory in the way we even handle our own people.
And
the expectations too would be different.
Indeed.
Then access to good healthcare. Because those people, they work more than all of us. And the distances they've walked, man, Lamin, I used to sit and say, wow. But all they just need is, especially for their women in labor, to be able to have a vehicle or something to take them to the nearest health center and back. Because sometimes at night, somebody who is in labor would have to be carried by someone on a motorbike. Can you imagine?
So you have
some told me they've even delivered sometimes on the way in horse carts or donkey carts. So these are realities that we live with. So let's not assume that it is not happening.
It is happening.
If you don't go out there, you wouldn't know.
Vicente, we can go and we cannot exhaust your experience.
No, really.
We thank you very much.
And thanks for being around.
For really discovery, making a health discovery for all of us.
And it has not ended. Even the combos I'm still trying to
we'll hook up. Vicente Gomez, the man who was on the journey of self-discovery. And thank you for being on the brunch. The brunch will be back with more discoveries on Saturday. Until then, let's all have a great week.
Thank you.
Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, takaful fund, management of zakat, management of awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151 or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you.
Planning to have an uninterrupted electricity and water supply from solar energy in the Gambia and beyond? Worry no more, because Solar Enterprise will provide you with the solutions at reasonable cost. We have experienced personnel who can install and advise you about your electricity and water supply with a warranty period. We have good quality solar products from North America and Europe. We provide services and sell products to individuals, organizations, institutions, private offices, communities, and government. These products are solar panels, batteries, charge controllers, inverters, water pump, water heaters, freezers, submersible pumps, and general solar accessories. Visit our stores at 48 Karaba Avenue and Brusubi Highway, or you can call us on 7657 479 980-8483, 340-9400 or 635-9906.
Jamano Money Transfer Bureau de Change, your go-to option when it comes to money transfer. With Jamano, you can send money from anywhere in the world to your family and loved ones in the Gambia and be sure the funds will be delivered to them within the shortest time possible. For your convenience, funds sent through Jamano Money Transfer can be picked from all the banks and multiple other financial institutions, including Ajib Bank, Trust Bank, GT Bank, Mega Bank, Basic Bank, Reliance Financial Services, and Approved Services. Visit our head office at Brusubi opposite AfricMed next to Trust Bank Limited, or email us at info@jamanomt.com. You can as well call us on 310-3050 or 310-3051 or yet still 733-0688. Our opening hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Saturday and 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday. Jamano Money Transfer, your most trusted money transfer service where customer satisfaction is paramount. When you think of a simple, fast and reliable money transfer, think Jamano Money Transfer.
I get it. Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code nyenje.
Okay. What's that? Nsila ID soto.
Sorry. I get it.
Bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariaka.
Mbale.
Mo ki janna nun kunu bara tariaka.
Jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbali ya bere. Birin koyna fo kato.
Bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong blabe ko.
56 branches mola soto Gambia jam.
Ha?
Gambia kono ani Gambia bantala bankol. Nka kodo kiya bere. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi topoto nin kodi maraw. Jannom number 1 ti nyonta. Andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale. Wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi man domorol dir fana beteata. Gambia dawda yalo nga fa kendol sotale je.
Wo moyo diat ha.
Apelenta
baraka. Ni wo kanyi lafta nyelen kendol e bina.
Yalo bu kanyi la ko la baraka ba.
Yalo ndel chosano lo.
Baraka.